I did a review already for this, but I ended up talking about his situation more than the album or the music. Because, yeah, it's pretty interesting what's going on with him, or what I think is going on with him. He seems to be having some kind of spiritual awakening, kind of like what a lot of us kind of went through. And he seems to be going through the same thing, judging by the lyrics and the surrounding interviews for this album that I've been looking at. He's not very good at hiding his power level, though. He has to work on that. A few times they had to steer him away from talking about banks. But yeah, he's going through a thing. But that's a whole other subject. I might just do a whole thing about that, about Andy's current situation. It's really interesting. But the album itself is, man, it's really good. I remember when I heard the first thing that came out was the title track. He released it as like a single. And I remember it coming out, and I don't know, I was doing something else. It was just one of those things I put up in the background. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. It has like Bowie vibes to it. And I just kind of forgot about it. And then the next one I saw, I don't know if it was the second single. I know he put out 3 of them. But it was Getting It Home. And I heard Getting It Home, like, wow, this is really cool. It sounds like something he would have done back in the day. It's not like Take It Easy, but it's in that vein of kind of anthemic rock kind of thing. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. When the album comes out, I definitely got to give it the headphone test. And it came out, and I did. And listening to it, you know, first track is the title track that he'd released previously, Man's Wolf to Man. And like, by the end of it, I'm like, wow, that's pretty, there's a lot in there. And it's a good song, you know. It's one of those, it's like that, the pop music sort of formula of kind of sad, profound lyrics, but happy music, uplifting music. You know, that combination always goes well. And that, the track ended, I'm like, wow, that's a cool song. I'll have to go back to that one. I'll have to listen to that one again. So then the second one begins, Influential Bonds. And I'm listening to it again. It's kind of the same thing. It's like listening to it lyrically. You know, you'd better watch out for the influence you oppose. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking my life, man. You know, it's a lot of our lives. Same thing. And then the third track, what's it called? I think it's called Did It For You. I Did It For You or something. Same kind of thing. Like these really, it's like the guy's talking about like what a lot of us are going through. You know, sometimes you hear those albums and you're like, wow, this guy's talking to me. It's kind of like that. And then when you get to the midway point of the album, he makes sure you know he's talking to you with the track Reaching Out to You, which is like, it's a very Duran Duran song. It's the only one like that on this album, but it's almost like he would say, yeah, like he's always been like pegged as the white rock boy in the band, and you know, and he's a heavy metal Neanderthal. And then this tune, Reaching Out to You, it's one of the best Duran Duran songs that they haven't written in the past 20 years. It's almost like he's saying, yeah, I can do this stuff too. Here you go. And it's awesome. It's really good. It doesn't sound like a throwback, but it uses a lot of the elements that they like, you know, a lot of dance. It's very dance floor chic kind of elements in there. It's really good. And then followed by Reaching Out to You is that track I was talking about earlier, the Am I Getting It Home? And what he's saying there is, well, literally, am I getting it home? Am I getting this home? Is this hitting home? You know? And then the album starts to kind of coalesce, and you realize that this is like a concept album about this man's kind of spiritual awakening, breakthrough, understanding. And I think it might have had something to do with, well, probably very much to do with his cancer diagnosis and you know, the lockdowns and everything that got him thinking this way. But it's definitely what's going on, in my opinion. And the music, is, I guess if I had to say what it was, it's a lot of 70s Bowie. Not any specific era. There's stuff on it that kind of sounds like the hunky-dory kind of stuff, like a lot of acoustic guitar. There's some Ziggy Stardust vibes in there too. There's on track 3, during the chorus, all of a sudden there's the horns from Young Americans are just dropped in there. And it's awesome. It's fucking joyous. It just sounds so good, you know, in the background. It's not the exact parts from the album lifted to it, but it's a very similar sounding horn line that goes in the background of the chorus. It's really like feel good type of music. Like it's very uplifting, very you know, and it's like a 70s Bowie type of thing mixed with some modern flourishes. The guys that he produced it himself basically, but I know the engineering was done by one of the guys who does the Rammstein stuff, and their stuff always sounds great, and this sounds great too. That the production on this album is really, really good. It's like an ear candy type of situation. Like everything sounds good, and it's kind of too bad that he waited this long to do anything. But I think he just wasn't inspired, because this is a work of inspiration. Like this is a guy that really wanted to get this stuff out. He had something to say. He was going through something very profound, and still is going through something very profound, and wanted to get it, and wanted to use his gifts to spread that around. The album continues after that halfway point with the Duran track and the Getting It Home track, and into more of the same kind of. The Last Straw is a song that is kind of in the mold of the first half of it, where he's asking questions, just kind of like, how much more can we take of this, you know? There's a song about food poisoning and how everything you're eating. It's a song called Big Trigger. And there's a lot, musically, yeah, I hate when people do that. Like, they make it look like they're going in. So then I like an idiot, I stop, like, okay, go ahead, buddy. But then they're like, nah, I was just fucking with you. I'm gonna go over here. Whatever. The title track, Man's a Wolf to Man, it originates from a Latin saying, and the idea being that how dangerous man can become when he becomes a wolf to other men, where you reach a point where people start to see each other as the other, like someone who's not the same as them. I go through that all the time, you know, with the whole robot thing, you know. But the lyric states that you should get rid of those people, probably as a countermeasure, because eventually they will get rid of you. Oh, is this Mark over here? Yeah, it is. He's good. This guy travels everywhere. What is it? How do you spell Mark? I think how do you say Mark? He's got a great voice. Every time I look at him on YouTube, he's always like, he's in New York, and then he's in New Orleans, and then he's back over here. The guy travels more than Indiana Jones. But anyway, yeah, if you're even interested slightly in what Andy's done over the years, or you're a Duran fan or whatever, you really got to hear this thing. It's great. All the spiritual discovery stuff aside, it's a good record. He has a couple guests on it. Tina Arena, who's an Australian singer, who's she's not really known here in the States, but I guess worldwide. She's done sold like 10 million albums or something like that. You know, it's one of these crazy things. Like I'd never heard of her before. Say something, but will bring up on you. What's up, Mark? He's deep in thought. Oh, there you go. He has another guy on it too. The guy from Reef, the singer from Reef. What's his name? God, I forget his name. Why do I say Gled? It's not Gled. Is it Gled? I don't know. Gary. Anyway, Reef is a band that's been around. They came out in the early 90s. They're a British band. They came up when the Britpop thing was happening, but they didn't fit in with them at all. They're more from not so much the Beatles, King school. They're more like I don't know, hard rock kind of. And Andy joined them a couple years ago. Produced their last album, plays guitar on it. It's really good. I like it. I listen to it. So he's on there too. That's about it though. Now, finding liner notes for this thing has been kind of impossible. I don't have the hard copy, and there's nothing on Wikipedia for it. So I've been having trouble finding out who played what and who did what. But I know Andy does everything. He can do everything, so perhaps he did, but I don't know if he plays drums. It definitely sounds like real drums. Doesn't sound like drum machine. Although, you know, it could be. I don't know. But yeah, it's just everything on it's great. It's so well done, and if you give it a chance, you won't be disappointed. It's a really good album. Man's a Wolf's a Man, Andy Talor. Wow, that was a quick one. All right, I think I got everything in, right? What it sounds like. Lyrical themes. Yeah, the last time I did a video for it, I just ended up going down the rabbit hole of spiritual awakening kind of stuff. And by the time I was done, I was like, what even am I talking about? Sometimes that happens, you know. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye on his interviews and stuff just to see how far along he is. I determined in my amateur professional opinion that he's about 50% out. And I say that because he still thinks politics are real. So, but once you start getting out, you don't go back in. So he will get out. It's just, you know, these things take time sometimes. But God bless him. Good. I'm glad to have him on our side. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.